Hi everyone. How
Hi,
are we
Natalie.
all doing? Hope you haven't been waiting too long. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey John, I haven't seen your face in a long time. How you doing? Hey Joe. Oh, I must say, it is so lovely to see all your faces. Like if you've been in the group for a little while, it's a lot of been doing some Facebook lives and it's just not the same. I really love seeing your faces and I hope that this will be a better way to engage as well. I'll try and keep on top of the chat. But first of all, while we're all getting on and getting started and settled, I would love for you to type in to the comments just a few words of how you're feeling about getting started and be honest. You can write overwhelmed, you can write scared, you can write whatever you like, but just write in. I want to hear a few things about how you guys are feeling. Excited, awesome. And I'll try and keep it nice and short for your Saturday morning. I know there's probably a lot of you have got a bit of prep to do, right? A bit of food prep to do. So I'll try and keep it nice and short. But basically, the purpose of this call is just to say hello to everyone, see how you're feeling, answer any questions that you have about getting started. And I'm going to go through kind of like a few of my top tips and just what you can experience and a few extra little hints and things about how to adjust it and make it work for you. So the best, my tips in getting started, but this is yeah, a good place for everybody to ask any questions as you go. And I'll go through some of my stuff and then I'll check for questions because it's just me on the call today. So I'll try and stay on top of both sides and do like the questions at the end. So we've got excited, working out how much extra I can prep, ready to go, looking forward, nervous to make sure we stay on target for all four family members. Yeah, not too bad. More prep, bit worried, unprepared, busy week, but get started tomorrow. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. How many I can probably see you all. So maybe give me a thumbs up if this is your first challenge. Yeah, cool. Okay. So we've got some returning and some new. All right. Awesome. And um I would love to know who uses their Thermomix to cook manually at the moment already. Yeah? You put your hands up if you do. Yeah. All right, that's good. And for some of you, it's going to be new, right? It's going to be a new way to use your Thermomix. So I know that can be scary in itself, but I want to let you know that once you master learning manual cooking with a Thermomix, it unlocks it being the most diverse appliance and it really gets some creativity sparking. So I'm really excited to see that happen for you guys. All right, so I'll start by just saying I know a lot of you are saying you're excited and everything, but I'm sure there's a little bit of element of overwhelm there as well. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what, I want you to it's easy for me to say try not to be overwhelmed, but I understand that it is a lot of new information. It's a lot of things to do to add to your to-do list to get started in our already busy lives. So I just want to kind of put you at ease and say, it doesn't have to be perfect. You do what you can. What I've laid out for you is a guide, but you just kind of knock off what works for you. And if there's anything you don't get to, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So try not to be overwhelmed with anything. You just do what you can with what you have to start with and let go of any perfection. That's probably one of my biggest tips because it's not supposed to be following this as a perfect down to 100% thing. I really want you to have a bit of, I guess, autonomy over making it work for you because everybody's different. Everybody has a different life going on, a different starting point. So what I've tried to do is make it a bit of a guide, and you guys can make it, adjust it, and make it work for you and make it suit. All right. Hopefully that takes a bit of the pressure off. So first of all, I just want to touch on like move, I guess flowing on from that is the flexibility of the program. So like I mentioned, I've laid all this out, but not one way of eating. I'm a big believer in not one way of eating and not one way of doing things is gonna suit everybody. So please feel free to swap, skip, and adjust. And when I say swap, I do recommend like swapping something if you know you really, really don't like a meal. However, I will say I've had a lot of people say to me, I really didn't think I was going to like X meal, and I tried it, and now it's one of our regular rotations and our favorites. So I will add, try not to assume that you won't like a certain dish and just give it a try first. And then if you don't like it, for sure. You don't have to, if it comes up again on the meal plan, you don't have to eat it. You can swap it for something else. But I will say just kind of be a bit open to trying new things, because nothing will change unless we're open to trying new things. So if we get out of our own way a little bit and just try new things, we should be all good. So yeah, if you're going to swap something, do please try it first. And then with skipping, if I mean, I have like a fear of being hungry, and the thing I would hate to do most is create a program that is, kind of could be perceived as a diet, and then for people to be eating that way and be hungry. So I feel like I've put more food in there than what people need. Some people feel a little bit hungry on the program while they adjust. Some people feel like this is way too much food. So again, I want you to just tailor it to you. If you feel like it's too much, you don't have to eat everything that I've laid out for you, especially if you might be used to fasting and then all of a sudden you've got breakfast in the program. So if that's you, there is a way to adjust that. So you can still stick to your fasting if you want and still manage the program. So yeah, in that way, you don't have to eat everything that I've laid out for you. Or if you are finding yourself hungry and you do need a bit more, this is going to depend on your lifestyle, how active you are. Everyone's going to be different. So if you are finding that you're hungry, you can add in some extra snacks. I would say, if you're on the lighten up, there's already one snack a day. You can add in another snack in between meals whenever you like, or you can also increase the protein or the carbs if you're really active in the specific meal. So there's that option as well. But just really tailor it to you. You'll find how you go after the first week. And a lot of it's going to be adjusting as well, because for some people, this might be a really similar way of eating for you that you're used to already. And then for other people, it might be completely different. So there'll be different levels of adjustment going on with everybody. I'll just check your comments. Cool. Then adjusting, so adding and removing ingredients, same thing. That goes for that. Within the meal, if there's an ingredient you don't like, or if it's really expensive because it's out of season or something, I am more than happy for you to swap different like vegetables around, swap different proteins around. I know there's a fair few people who may not like prawns or seafood or fish. You are more than welcome to swap those for any other protein. And if you're not quite sure how to do it or what's the best replacement, we've got that Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, you're more than welcome to email me. I'm happy to help. I don't want anybody to feel disadvantaged because they don't use Facebook. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to switch to Zooms as well, because it's accessible for everybody. And we'll put this recording up in the members area login and probably the Facebook group as well. So yes, adding, removing ingredients if you need to, no problem there. Do I have a list of what to swap with? Oh, yeah. no, but there's a lot of people in the group who've done the challenge before. A lot of the time, if you search in the group as well, you'll find multiple posts on that kind of thing. Like a common one is swapping the prawns for some chicken in the laksa, for example. A lot of people do that, and there's a lot of people who've commented how they did that the best. But I think I might have even put that in the recipe this time when I updated it. Needs anybody modifying to suit a family? Like not making two dinners, and yeah, so we've got you guys. I know you're feeding four. Yeah, so if you want to, and I totally understand, you don't want to be making two different dinners during this thing. So what a really good way, depending on how many people you've got in your family, my best suggestions would be to increase the serving size of the dinner if you need to. So generally, if you're on a 2-person program, the dinner makes 4 serves. And if you're feeding a family and you've got 4 to feed, that will just mean that you don't have lunch left over for the next day, because I've kind of planned it out. So every time you cook once and eat twice, basically. So if you're going to feed that whole 4 serves with the family, then you'll just need to fix up yourself a healthy lunch the next day. And an example of how you could do that, or an easy way to do that, would be to make an extra quiche or a frittata or something like that you could just grab a piece and have a side salad for lunch. So however you want to do that, if you want to do that, that's fine. But the other option is to beef up the meal itself. So you could do that by adding sides for the family. If the family is used to having pasta or rice or things that aren't in the program, you can add them on as the sides and beef it up for people. Or you can just increase the amounts of the actual ingredients and maybe make at least 5 or 6 serves of the dinner, so that you've got 1 or 2 serves left over for lunch the next day. So however that works best for you. Now, what does everyone have a pretty good idea of what they need to have ready before the end of tomorrow? So okay, we've got some yes, some no. So just to let you know, so tomorrow is day 1. But day 1, we're not eating from the menu tomorrow. So day 1 is the last chance to have everything ready. It's the last chance prep day. Now, it is that way because we used to have just day 1, and that was the one day to get everything ready. But now I've extended and had that get ready week. So I hope that you guys have found that get ready week helpful. Just to take, because I was feeling that overwhelm, and people were registering on one day and then needing to have everything ready that day or the next day, because a lot of people sign up at that last minute, that last day. So I've introduced that get ready week to hopefully allow people to really take their time in the week to get set up, which I hope has helped. But so tomorrow, if you haven't done if you haven't done some of the stuff, and some people joined late through the week, definitely you'll need to have your goals done, your measurements, if that's a reason why you're doing this challenge. Not that it's a drastic weight loss program, but there definitely should be some changes there. So if that's one of your reasons for doing it, then you can take measurements. I do recommend taking photos as well, even if they're just for you. Now, coming from in my personal training career, I can't tell you how many times I would do a check-in. So we would do normally 9-week blocks with people. We would take photos, measurements, goals, and then at the 9 weeks, we would do those photos, measurements, and check the goals again. And so many times people were not really happy with themselves. They would say, oh, I don't think I've changed that much. I didn't do this, didn't do that, picking out all the bad things. But then when we actually took that photo and put it side by side with their other photo, their before photo, it was at that moment that they could not deny that they had changed, whether even if it was a little bit. But it's like it happens in ourselves so gradually that we don't often notice it. So I do believe that with the taking a photo, even if it's just for you, that can help you see that you are making changes and you are making progress, and it can give you a little bit of self-recognition and a bit of feedback for yourself, especially if you're not feeling good. We often focus on the negative things. So that can be a good one. I would say definitely take it before you start, because then I also have a lot of people say, oh, I did really good in the first few weeks and I wish I took my before photo, but I didn't. I was avoiding it because I didn't feel great about myself at the time. Now I wish I did, because now I can compare. So even if you're going to delete it or never use it, just take it and be really clear on your goals as well, what you would like to achieve, and not just for the 6 weeks, but how you want to move forward, how you want to improve, because I'm guessing that everybody's here because they want to make a change in some way or improve in some way. So being clear on that is going to really help. And you are like sharing what you like in the group, what you're trying to achieve in the group is great for accountability. So you're more than welcome to do that. I'll be asking little questions you'll see in the group. I'll ask little questions, a little like, finish this sentence. My biggest goal is I'm ready to change. And I'll be posting those questions in the group. So do kind of have a little bit of a think and a reflect on those and answer. That just gets you thinking and keeping it in the forefront of your mind. We've got, I'll do the falafels freeze fridge for a few days. Yeah, the falafels freeze. Don't cook them first. Just make the mixture up, roll them up, and then freeze them, and then let them defrost and take any water away before frying them up. That's so good that someone's Woolies order arrived this morning. Plenty of time to cook and prep today and tomorrow. John, many days of thinking. The reason for me being here is to make eating right fun. Yeah, I think it can be so overwhelming, and there's a lot of different opinions and things out there about eating right, and it just can seem so daunting with the conflicting information and the pressure and everything. So one of my goals through the ThermoFit program is to just take people's mind off the diet mindset and just eat healthy, and just eat better and make small incremental improvements that are going to make big changes over time, because they really, really do. Anything we do really hard, fast and restrictive, it just doesn't last, and we're back to where we started, if not further behind. So my goal is to kind of take the diet mentality out of dieting, and that's why there's no counting, even though that's what I've done in the past in my career in personal training. I've done a lot of counting with people, and this way of eating is a reflection of what I saw worked best for most people. So goals, measurements, photos, these are the things that we need to have done before the end of tomorrow. Hopefully you would have done some of these already. Goals, measurements, photos. Your pantry, fridge and freezer clean out. Who's done that? Anyone? Yeah. I've seen a few people. I was really pleased to see a few people say that they got the non-perishable checklist and they went through their fridge, pantry, fridge, freezer, and they had most of the things. And I know that list can look big, but when we actually put it against what we have already, a lot of the time it saves you buying some stuff. So I really hope I hope that people did the 6-week non-perishable shopping list and that was helpful. And to do a bit of a fridge and pantry and freezer clean out is a great idea, because especially if you're following the one person program, you're going to need a lot of freezer space, because I've tried to make it so you've got quite a small amount of cooking, or each time you cook, you're eating things later on. So you've got a reduced time of cooking and a reduced time of being in the kitchen, and you're going to need some freezer space. So out with the old and in with the new, or we could start using up, there's not really that much time now, but you could start using up stuff that was in your freezer already. What else did I have down to speak with you about today? So after you've got shopping to do, hopefully the 6-week non-perishable shop list is done, and the fresh stuff should be done today at the latest, because then anything fresh you can make tomorrow, like salad or the quiche, depending on what program you're on. Some of those things of meal prep, and I've got some things laid out to have ready depending on what program and how many people you're doing. And there's also some that I've put like extras to get ahead. If you're in the Facebook group, you would have seen that. I think it was posted today. Just, some people are super organized and they've got all those prep items ready, and then they're looking for, oh, well, what can I get ready ahead even more so to help me in this first week or two? So there's some suggestions for that as well. Now, and watching some of the videos. We've got a few videos there that I recommend watching before the end of tomorrow, before we start day one. That would be like the nutrition philosophy. So a bit about this way of eating that you're going to find in the next 6 weeks. The 80-20 video, that's a really good one. Please watch that. That's one of my tips to follow through the program. That's getting you set up with balance really well and not having that perfection mindset. Some of the other videos, like the overview or the about video, just gives you a little bit of a rundown on things as well. So hopefully I've got everything in there that's nice and laid out for you to give you some tips on getting started. Thanks, Nina. Love the 80-20 video. Yeah, I over the years of doing this, I think that the 80-20 rule, once people understand that and implement it, it is one of the biggest game changers that there is, because it just removes the mindsets of guilt, restriction, shame, blame. It removes all of that, and you know that you're still doing good. So please do watch that one, the 80-20, and refer back to it whenever you need a little reminder. If you start to find yourself shaming yourself for eating something not on the program, go back and have a watch of that and just go, okay, implement it. But one of my top tips in that 80-20 video is to kind of choose your 20 before at the start of the week. So knowing when you usually have a treat, or when you would like to go out, if you already know when you're going out for lunch or dinner or some sort of celebration, or they're the times you choose to set aside for not sticking to the program, and you still know that every other time when eating from the program, you're on track. So there's no guilt about it. So give that one a watch for sure. Now, I just wanted to cover a little bit of some kind of common symptoms that you may experience through the first week or so of the program. And like I said, everybody's going to be different. You may not experience any of these. You may experience all of them. It just depends. But just to keep in mind, I mentioned before, some people feel full. Some people are like, wow, this is way too much food. Some people might feel hungry. I do think it's a lot to do with just the different diet. I think most of the time, if people are feeling full, they're maybe not used to eating so much fiber, protein, or fats, or all three in the same meal. It is a very nutrient dense way of eating. It's very, it's got a lot of healthy fats, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein. So while your body adjusts to that, you can feel different to what you usually do. And like going back to what I said before, just take it, make it, adjust it to suit you. If you need to skip a meal, you can do that, no problem. If you need to add a meal, that's no problem either. So you're more than welcome, flexible to do that. Cravings. Cravings may happen, not always, but yeah, some people, I don't know how many sweet tooths we have here, but if you, yeah, we got Katie. If you do experience any cravings, that's okay. The best time to, I've got the Healthy Treats book. I don't know if you have that or not, but that's a really good go-to for when you do have a sweet tooth. Yeah, I would say if anyone's got a sweet tooth and they usually have any cravings, make something from the Healthy Treats, or find a healthy dessert and have some sort of freezable treat that you can just get out of the freezer whenever those cravings hit, and just have a little bit of it. Because especially with the Healthy Treats book, it's kind of they're still really high in fiber, fats, like protein, those kind of desserts, but they're sweet. So they satisfy and they don't keep you coming back for more, like regular like commercial chocolate. I find regular sugar does that, doesn't satisfy you, so you can keep going and eating a lot more. If you don't have anything on hand and you have a craving hit, one of my favorite go-tos is just to have a medjool date and or two and put some nut butter in it, or stuff it with some nuts, some macadamias, some roasted almonds or something. And honestly, you can't even eat more than three of those. That you just can't. Your body kind of go, oh, that's enough. That's it. That really hits the sweet spot. So if you don't have anything on hand, just a medjool date with some nuts or some nut butter is really good. It's a really good little, hits the spot perfectly. Now, different digestion patterns. Um, you know, definitely some people like they're going more regularly, which is great because of the high fiber. But some people aren't because, well, I think the biggest case is not enough water. So what happens when you're having a really high fiber diet? It's great that everything's getting pulled together, but if we don't have enough water, it will struggle to come out. So we can be a bit blocked up sometimes. Now, water, being on that subject, water is one of the biggest things that I recommend that people do on this program is increase their water. I do have a bit of a formula of 1 liter per 25 kilos of body weight. Now, if you're really far away from that, don't stress out. Just try and increase slowly over time by like an extra glass a day for a week and then an extra glass a day for the next week. Otherwise, you're just going to be going to the toilet if you drink it too fast. So try and drink little more water, but over the course of the day, not just getting to the end of the day and sculling a half a liter of water. Because that's going to help with a lot of those things. That's going to help with cravings. Sometimes we're actually thirsty when we're hungry. That's going to help with helping to get all of this fiber going through us and cleaning out our digestive system. It's going to help with any tiredness. So there can be some tiredness when getting started on the program because we're oftentimes a lot of us are reducing our carb intake, and carbohydrate holds water in our body a little bit. So when we reduce some carbohydrates, we can lose a bit of stored body water with that. And then when we're a little bit lower in water, we can get tired. So I really suggest increasing your water, even if you already drink enough water. If you're reducing your level of carbs than you're normally having, you're going to need to have a little bit more water to even be at the same level as you are. So please make sure you're drinking water, good quality water, filtered water. Pinch of salt in the water as well helps you retain the water, helps you stay a bit more hydrated, put some electrolytes back into the water. So a pinch of good quality salt in there is always a good idea in the water. You could have like up to like 1/8 of a teaspoon per liter of water of salt if you want to add that in. So that's a good one too. That's one of my top ones. And you might have some of these are detox symptoms. So headaches, same, water will help with that. It's often caused from dehydration. The tiredness. So water is going to fix a lot of these things if we increase. But there's some extra things you might want to do if you're feeling these things quite severe. You could, if you have access to a sauna, you could help with some detoxing symptoms, access to a sauna, a cold plunge, even some activated charcoal in water as well to help get rid of some of the toxins, because that's a binding agent. It grabs onto the toxins in the body and then we get rid of them. So if anyone's not wants to try any activated charcoal but have some questions, haven't tried it before, welcome to ask me. You just don't want to have it near any vitamins or medication, because it can actually remove those as well. So try and have it away from food. But if anyone wants to know anything more about that, I can help there. And that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I did want to make sure we had time for any questions, but my top tips are, yeah, let go of any perfection mindset. It's not going to be perfect and it's not meant to be. So don't expect it, don't set those expectations up like that now, because it'll just end in disappointment, unnecessary disappointment. Then just do what you can with what you have. If you get stuck out somewhere and you don't have, a meal with you, and you have to eat, just choose the best option that you have with the knowledge that you have right now. Just choose a high protein, like, if there's not much available, there's not much available. It's okay. One bad meal's not going to spoil everything, just like one good meal's not going to make everything. So it's okay. Life happens, and sometimes you'll be stuck somewhere and you won't have any good options. So we just need to make do with what we have, and that's totally fine. That's why in the 80/20 video I say, all right, well, maybe if it's 4 times a week, just plan 3, because there'll always be something that will happen in a week where you can't quite get to it, or something unexpected friend pops around, or you want to have an extra dessert at lunch that you weren't planning for. So always kind of choose your 3 ahead of time and then have that 4th one as like a bonus. And if not, great. Plan your 80/20, watch the video, be really clear on your goals and your why, and maybe even write it down somewhere, write it on the fridge. That way, if you're going to get something that you're not supposed to be, you might see your goals there and your reason why, and it might just deter you from grabbing whatever you were going to grab at the time. But little things like that, just reminding yourself of kind of, it's more about the habits. The habits are what make us what we want to be. So when we instill habits, the habits are what makes us change over time, rather than if we, so one of my biggest things is make habit-based goals, not number on the scale based goals, because that's what you want to achieve, but the habits are the how to achieve that. And when you just focus on the habits, that's when the biggest change and the biggest growth comes as a person, because it's not just this is my wish, I want to get to X on the scale. It's like, no, okay, well, maybe I want to get to X on the scale, but how am I going to get there? And it's those habits that are going to get there. So I say focus on the habits. And then make the program your own. Don't be afraid to change it, or don't think if you have a busy week and you're just scraping by, don't give it up completely. It's okay. Just come back and get back on it. And yeah, so don't feel disheartened if things don't go exactly to plan. Just get by with what you have. Sometimes we have those crazy busy weeks and, things don't go to plan, but that's okay. Like I said, just choose things that you can do with the best options that you can. So they're my top tips, and I want to make sure, do we have any questions? Because I know we've got a short limit. We've only got a couple of minutes left. But as you know, I'll be in the Facebook group to answer any questions as well, and I'll like be responding to any emails as well if you have any questions. So good quality salt do you recommend? Celtic salt would be my top go-to, Celtic sea salt, if you can find that. And then just a good quality sea salt. So, but make sure it's not an iodized table salt. Just, yeah. Thanks, John and Joe. And all the recipes from the Healthy Trees were considered snacks. Yeah, I wouldn't count them in my 20. But I would also try and limit them to, 3 a week, because if you're trying to adjust a sweet tooth, giving into it every time might not help with that. So yeah, the healthy treats are, yeah, I would say a snack, but not too many. one at a time is snack. Any more than that would be cutting into your 20. So yeah, we've got 2 minutes left. Anybody else? Oh, we've got how many liters of water per hour? Oh, per hour, it's I kind of just try and work it out by how many liters a day. So, or it's that 1 liter per 25 kilos of body weight. So whether you're 50 or say if you're 75 kilos, 3 liters in the day. But I do just try and space it out through the day. Never leave anywhere without your water bottle, and just always take small sips. A DEXA scan lately. Okay, great. I don't know, DEXA scan photos. I'm not sure. I don't even know what they're like, John. But with your photos, if you are taking photos, make sure you try and take them in the same spot from the same distance away. I've got some resources in the challenge about that. Yeah, thanks. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time jumping on today on a Saturday, and I hope that you found this information helpful. And please let go of any overwhelm. And yeah, just I really hope you have a great time, and I hope that everybody stays really. I want to see a lot of photos. I want you guys to spam the group with photos, and I want to see everything you're cooking and even your challenges as well. Like, we're here as a group, we're going through the same things together. Don't be afraid to post anything, that any challenge that you're having, so that we can come in and help. That's what it's all about. It doesn't all have to be roses and perfect. It's not going to be. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, any other questions or anything, if we run out of time, you can just email me or put it in the group. And yeah, I've loved seeing all of your faces. Thank you so much for your engagement and